As y'all join me right in the middle of some shit that I'm already involved in. Oops, sorry, it's YouTube. As y'all find me in the middle of a project that I'm already involved in, I'm working on this traction control ring. So I didn't want a bike with ABS because I didn't want the bike being affected in a way differently than I intended it to be, but we had to deal with traction control. Now we've got a sensor that's hanging right there, and that sensor monitors this ring. The problem I have is with these Brembo rotors, they've got these rivets and this housing that keeps the rotor on the ring. Well, this sits up a lot higher than what the factory did. So the factory's all flush, that ring sits flush. There's no issue with clearance or spacing or whatever it is that sensor requires. So I tried to make clearance on the back side of it, but obviously it was still a little high. And as you see right here, there was some impact just on that portion, and that was the only part that actually did touch the sensor. But I think from what the guys on the R1 forum said is there was a spacing issue. It was a little too close or whatever. So when you see my dash on the track day videos, I got a check engine light and a traction control off light. That's why. There's nothing wrong with the bike. It's just monitoring the wheel speed front to back. And that throws a check engine light code 69. I spoke about that on the R1 forum, and the guy showed me his. He just clipped them right out. Said it works fine. I thought about doing that, but I didn't know if that was gonna be the deal. Riding a bike with 80 pound-feet of torque, it's not that hard. It takes a little thought and a little care on the corner exit. So what I'm doing is, just for one, getting the lights off of my dash. For two, reapplying the fact that I'll be able to use traction control, and it'll be an option. I'm clipping it out. Most of them came really clean, but I just want to clean up a couple of slots like that one. See how those overlap? So I just want the traction control ring to sit all the way flush, and then we'll reapply it and see if we've still got the traction control light on violence. All right, I think we got it all cleared up. With this strike right here, I'm not sure if I damaged the sensor or what, or if everything's still gonna work. So let's throw it in there and see what we got going on. I must report that I am happy to say the TCS does function again. The biggest thing was this right here. There is just an M6 washer under the sensor, which pushes it back just enough. That just moved it out of the way, and we're good again. TCS back functioning. No check engine light in my face. I'm a happy camper with that. All right, so since that's done, just catching up with just random stuff that I wanted to do since the track day. I haven't even put my bike back together to even run. The tail light was unplugged. Headlights are still unplugged. I might leave them unplugged because it's not like I ride this thing at night any damn way. But that's a relief. Again, I don't know if I said it at the beginning of the video when I was doing this, because it's kind of been a couple days. It's not like it even affects my riding. It's just annoying to see on the dash. Two, I kind of just want the bike to work as a whole together. I want to grow with it, with the equipment that it has on it, the abilities, the traction controls, the power levels, whatever. I've got more than enough grip. The rear suspension's pretty good. I think we've gotten a better breakthrough on the front suspension. Rubber's stuck in my exhaust. The first session out, when we were jamming, I lean over, drag knee, getting in the corner, and in the corner, the bike didn't give me the curling, arcing in feedback. It just kind of laid on its side and stayed there. So it was my front suspension. It wasn't like working good. My boy Jay definitely helped me out. We changed compression, but we know the front is the downfall of this bike. I'm going to just have to bite the bullet, pull the cap, put new springs and oil in it. That might be the next move for this. Going to for sure pull that rear sprocket off. It's good on the track. It's like really good on the track. What was cool with this though is that it had a ton of engine braking combined with being on standard mode. Eventually I need to get to A mode, really stay in. That's max power on this bike. I'm probably missing about 5-10 horsepower being on B mode, I think. I'd have to look at the dynos to see. But I'm growing. I'm growing with this bike, getting a lot better. It's been really cool experiencing a leader bike. For once in my riding lifetime, I've always been on this. I didn't even touch this thing, which may or may not have been a good thing, but I was having a great time on this. So I'm happy that traction control is fixed. That light is out my face. The bike is working how it's 100% intended. I need to start messing with this. I need the parts of this to get this completed so we can get it to the car track, drag around a little bit, see what the hell is up with this bike. Because if y'all remember, we got this and it's been sitting in the same position, made quite a few mods to it, but it's just been sitting in the same position since then. Those sneaky things. Yamaha's a little bit different. This whole area right here, this built-up bulkhead area, the bearings sit down in that. You just put a dust cap over the top right there, which you could actually see is this right here, and that all sits in the frame. This one, these sit inside of that. Gotta knock those out. This is a upgrade for this bike. So let's get back to work.
Inside, so
Oh, miss it. No, hey, you ain't did it right if you ain't got spare parts, man. So we got it done. It's all the way complete. The kit does come with a dust cover that goes right over everything, and it seals up tight, just like the Yamaha. But there was one piece that we could have thrown on, but yeah, that came with the bike. It's done. Everything's good. Basically, now we know that steering stem is good because you can actually steer through it without getting the clump and the thump right there. So just got to go bend a corner with it and just, you know what I'm saying?
Bend the corner. You know, I got to get my story in. 1999, I did it on an F2. Almost had spare parts. I routed the damn clip-on wrong and had to take all the shit back off. 23 years later, 22 years
Same thing. But essentially, that's done, and literally just fine-tuning. We'll see what goes on. I got a gnarly-ass cut that I had to actually bandage.
We all have cuts from doing bears.
Oh, hopefully the time lapse got it, but we was over it trying to get the bottom race in, and we were trying to get the bottom race in. We just said, F this bike, lay it on the ground. We go to lay it on the ground, and I was just like, I let it go to go grab a pillow. He was holding it by himself.
He's doing this.
Yeah, and I just got up out of there.
I'm like, grab the bike.
Yeah, so I'm not the only one with a cut. He got cut too, trying to hold the joint up because we had no front wheel on it. So he was reached in here holding in that area and got
cut.
He got
cut me up, got thigh outside out here, everything.
Oh man, but yeah, man, fire it up and go bend a corner. And
get on like a noob from the wrong side.
Yeah.
You gotta cut it now because I don't want nobody to see me riding with no helmet. I don't do that shit.
All right, cut. All right, now that is one thing on my mental checklist that is out of here. I really wanted to get that done. Now all I gotta do, put the Gixxer rear shock on it. That raises it up. That improves the rear end. That has tension and compression, rebound and compression on it. And other than that, that's really all that this bike needs. I have finally just convinced him to take this to ARC just so we could give it a once over. We don't know the life that this thing lived before it got to us, so we got to get that done. Plus, I rode to Laguna Seca, I rode at Sonoma, and I rode at Thunder Hill on this. Just let him give it a once over. And this thing, I think we'll do plugs and give a once over on it, and that should be good and ready for more action on track days. But we're super close to battling this with this, so I'm super hyped about it. I'm absolutely done. It's Sunday night. Don't know what time it is. I'm ashy. Watch didn't feel like cutting on. What's going on? Okay, there we go. It's on. But we're gonna give it 2. This is actually 2 this time. We're done, and I'm out.